exciting stuff happening in the cryptocurrency world. Governments are recognizing it, policies are shifting, attitudes in the general public are just becoming more accepting. It's just really an exciting time. And, you know, this is something that we've made a point of talking about from time to time on this show. And we're going to do so now with a new friend of the show, Kevon Rasmussen. He joins us. Kevon, welcome to the show. How are you doing, my friend?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Can you hear me well?
I can hear you great, actually. Now, people of this show know that we've been talking about Worldcoin for quite some time now. I know that there are some real estate developers who are interested in picking up Worldcoin and using it as a system of trade. I know that people on this people who listen to the show have been purchasing it. And you're with that organization. Tell us what we need to know about the exciting, growing, transformational sort of things that are happening on your end.
A lot happened in actually the last 2 or 3 months. For one, Worldcoin is actually much more global now. Since we changed the committee's name from Foundation to Worldcoin Alliance, we have now established our headquarters in Canada, and we have operating hubs in the U.S., in Hong Kong, also in UK and the Netherlands. So we actually really went global since 2 months ago. And of course, we made buying Worldcoin much more easy compared to what we had previously. I think about 3 months ago, we maybe only had 1 or 2 outlets where you can purchase Worldcoin with dollars. But today, you can actually buy it using the euro, sterling pound, and even the Chinese yuan. And we have partners all over the world doing this for us.
Wow, that's pretty cool. I love to see these sort of things grow, and I love that more and more people, as in that, hey, if they're using the British pound or they're using a U.S. dollar, they're actually engaged in cryptocurrency already. 97% of those currencies are cryptocurrencies. So it's something that people are already using. They might as well diversify and get some alternatives in their portfolio so they have more of a market-sustained and market-driven currency. So tell us a little bit about, you know, with all these sort of currencies out there, because there's just a ton of them. What's the main difference? What makes Worldcoin so special than, say, Bitcoin or Litecoin or whatever else that might be on the market?
That's actually an excellent question that you just asked. So one, you're absolutely right. There are a gazillion amount of coins out there, and a lot of them don't really do too much. We would like to distinguish Worldcoin from the rest. Mostly, to start with, our name and our networking. We're out there to make it happen. We actually have a development team that actually doubled in size in the last 2 months, and we are working to make it actually accepted worldwide. Compared to Bitcoin, let's say, we're not directly competing with them because the whole crypto world is actually expanding together. But if we compare to Bitcoin, how is Worldcoin different? I would say first and foremost, most important thing is our speed. Actually, we talked about this in the show previously, is that Bitcoin is good, it's secure, but it's slow. A single transaction will take maybe 20 minutes to 40 minutes for confirmation for the whole thing to go through. And as you can imagine, if you want to use it in daily fact, you want to go to a grocery store to use Bitcoin, no one wants to stand in the line for like 20 minutes, waiting for confirmation, right? Worldcoin, we can do that under 1 minute. And that is in part because of our innovative code that we actually put into our algorithm when we first developed. And I would say the second most important thing that we're trying to distinguish us from the rest of the coin is that recently we started a new movement. We call the Better World Project. This is actually a community movement by Worldcoin. What we're doing now is that every now and then we'll be looking for people that need help. Recently, what we did is we had a project in Kenya that we realized people need fresh water there, and our community actually just stepped up and donated around $10,000 right almost on demand for those people. And we thought, given our name is Worldcoin, this will actually be a very good ongoing theme for us. So we're trying to be the coin that gives a little bit back to the world, so to say.
Well, that's amazing. That's really cool. Now, so far, the cryptocurrency world has been dominated mostly by people who are extremely tech or internet computer savvy. You know, they kind of have that mindset anyway. They're into those advancing technologies. How are we going to get other people who are just, you know, going about their daily lives, they don't really have, you know, that much interest in this sort of thing. How are we going to get people to kind of transition some of their assets into things like Worldcoin? How do you market to the non-tech side of the equation?
Excellent. You basically read my mind. I don't even need to drive our conversation there. For one, the first thing that we need to do is to make Worldcoin easier to purchase by, you know, the mass public. As, you know, you can imagine the normal housewife probably would not go onto the internet to buy Worldcoin. And we actually took several steps to make that happen. For one, we are partnering with a company called Crypto, and we're creating scratch cards for us. This is actually prepaid Worldcoin cards. So we can actually go to an authorized reseller, pay cash and receive Worldcoin. So we actually can skip the internet altogether during this. We're also working to get Worldcoin onto the ATM as well. And of course, all of this, once Worldcoin becomes much more easier for people to buy, I actually believe the rest will just snowball. You know, as people become more aware of it, services will start popping up. And we also, to help merchants adopt Worldcoin, we also partner with different people, like coinkingdom.net. Now we'll help merchants set up accounts so they can easily take Worldcoin as a payment. Same with lightpay.eu. This is our European equivalent of this merchant service. So in fact, we're taking multiple steps in all directions to make it easier for everybody.
I absolutely love the idea of those coin cards, those scratchers that have currency value to them. Nice. You know, that is just a genius idea. What's the timeline on something like this? Is this something that's coming in 3 months, 6 months, a year?
Oh, it's almost immediate. In fact, I have already seen the samples, and it will be probably in sales, probably within the next month or two, I would say. It's depending on our partner, Crypto.com, but I have already seen the actual product, so it's going to happen very soon.
That is absolutely amazing. We're going to have to figure out a way to implement that into what we do here, too. That's just so cool. So let's talk a little bit about how the governments of the world are starting to approach these. Initially, they were a little hesitant, a little standoffish. Then there were, you know, these concerns about international money transfers. But slowly and surely, the tide seems to be changing. I mean, recently there was a sheriff's department that has agreed to pay its people in cryptocurrency if they wish. So let's talk a little bit about that, Kevin, when we get back from the break. Don't go anywhere, folks. Back right after this. Want to be the smartest person you know? Then keep listening. This is the Josh Tolley Show on GCN Radio Network.
While there are 1 million Bitcoin holders now in the world, there are tens of millions feeling left out. Consider this. If you would have invested $1,000 early on in Bitcoin, you would be worth over $10 million today. Here's the good news, though. There is a better cryptocurrency now being praised as the real alternative cryptocurrency, Worldcoin, with the ability for faster transaction times, easier entry for people, and the rapid rise of commercial use. Don't let this opportunity be the one you miss. Get more information at worldcoinfoundation.org.
We're talking to Kevon Rasmussen with the Worldcoin Alliance about Worldcoin and cryptocurrency in general, actually. And Kevin, before the break, we were talking about how world governments initially started to have a little pushback against cryptocurrencies, and that's kind of shifted a little bit. Where do you see us now in terms of getting governments on board? Recently, the IRS here in the United States said that they're going to view it as property, not currency, to, you know, just kind of addressed the tax issue. But how do you think that's playing out with governments and cryptocurrencies?
Yeah, that is a very valid question. In fact, in the last 1 month, this is very new development, we see different countries taking different stance. In fact, Denmark just said they won't tax it because they think it's just a personal transference of things. But of course, U.S. and the IRS definitely had something to say about that. I believe they actually changed the view in time about this. And just around a week ago, I was invited to Goldman Sachs to talk about this particular issue. They actually invited me up, to talk about what the regulation would think about Worldcoin and Bitcoin, etc. And I actually gave them my view, and those guys are interested. And back to your question, I actually believe in the beginning there was a lot of fear about, all this all these issues about anonymous payments, money laundering, etc. But as people finally read into it, they actually realize it's actually better than cash. For one, all transactions on Worldcoin or Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies in general can be tracked almost 100%. Actually, 100%. I say almost 100% because there are some crypto out there that tries to make it not trackable. I can't say I'm entirely with that idea, but I believe, like Bitcoin and Worldcoin, with them being 100% trackable, it's actually making the government's job easier. Because now you find out that person's wallet name, it becomes public info, what that person has done or transacted, etc. In other words, you can actually keep it under regulation quite easily. Just have a company register that wallet, and all of a sudden, all the transaction is actually more clean than having them operate in cash. And I believe this kind of thinking and realization that's been happening in the last 1 or 2 months has really started to change, how people think about this cryptocurrency thing. I think around 3 months ago, back then, when there are some bad news about how people are using Bitcoin to do stuff that they're not supposed to, that definitely played a role into the market volatility. But of course, that's also because people don't really knew better, so to say. But as people know better now, I think things are actually going to change. People are going to accept cryptocurrency and accept Worldcoin a little bit more. But all this being said, Worldcoin is still in its infancy. We've been around since May last year. So in fact, we're one of the cryptos that has been around for probably the longest, actually, next to Bitcoin and Litecoin. However, all this is still in its infancy. I would compare Worldcoin, I would say cryptocurrency in general, as email. When email first came out, people don't know what to think about it. They say email will never replace snail mail. That just won't happen. And 10 years later, no one writes anymore, right? So I actually think we're in the beginning of that phase, and things will just keep changing. And I do think Worldcoin will eventually become much more adopted than right now.
So when we look at just the plethora of cryptocurrencies out there, there's naturally going to be a sifting of the marketplace. There's always, when something's new, there's a bazillion people who are trying to get into it, and then over the course of time, it kind of settles down and, only a handful of players remain. What is the Worldcoin Alliance's plan to make sure that Worldcoin is one of those coins that sustain the inevitable growth sifting phase?
Well, that's also a good question. I would actually say it's not so much what the coin does, but what the coin is actually related to, the people that they work with. Bitcoin is strong because they have very strong partners, and that is exactly what Worldcoin is doing. We're, allying strong partners. So at the end of the day, it's really the whole network that stays, not just, a copycat. For example, if someone copies Bitcoin's code and say, hey, use my network instead, but they will not have the services or the partnership that Bitcoin or Worldcoin already have, and that will just, make it very difficult for them. As time goes by and, the network becomes more mature, it will be even more difficult for new players to step in, etc. So I think the Worldcoin, we actually had a really good early start, compared to most crypto out there. We have over 300 merchants already accepting us for Bitcoin alone, and if you actually go through the coinpayments.net, this is a network that accepts crypto, you'll realize that the thousands of merchants actually accepting cryptocurrency already, and in extension, that's also Worldcoin's network. So I actually think it'll be difficult for newcomers. The later they arrive, the more difficult it will be for them.
Yeah, I agree. And, for those who are thinking about getting into cryptocurrency, I am new to this as well. It's not like I come from a really heavy tech background. But I found it extremely easy. You get a wallet, and it's really just the same as any other form of transaction you engage in that doesn't have cash. I mean, it's really the exact same thing. And as this develops, there's no reason why there can't be Worldcoin debit cards, because really, you go to some resorts and they have their own version of currency already in existence on a resort using a little swipe card. So those are coming. You have the acceptance of governments. You have the ability for the marketplace. And Kevin, this is a part that I really want you to touch on real quickly. A lot of people say, well, if the governments of the world can track this, then, it's the same as what we're trying to get away from. But there is a difference, because unlike the fiat currencies where the value is established by the issuers of those currencies, these currencies are really driven in their value by the people who are using them. And that's really where money becomes a tool of whoever uses it, as opposed to those who try to control it, correct?
Yes, you're actually 100% right. The word we like to use here is decentralization. Like the dollar, I think people just got fed up, through 2008 and all episode, and government just used the taxpayer money to, bail out corporations, etc. And with centralization, of the currency, the people never really truly own it, and they're, in a way, I would actually say subjected to a level of control by the people controlling the currency. And this is what Worldcoin and Bitcoin is all about. It's about putting money back into the people that owns it. So, as of right now, you're right. Getting crypto is very easy. It's just like, having a wallet is like starting an email account. It's just like that. And once you're in it, you can join the community, post up your opinion. For example, Worldcoin as of today is extremely community driven. I'm here really mostly because the community has things to say, and we do deliver what the community wants us to do. In fact,
well, Kevin, let's get to this question before I have to let you go. I don't mean to cut you off, but let's get to this question before I have to let you go. If somebody's listening to this and they're like, hey, I want to get some Worldcoin, how do they do it? Where do they go?
As of today, there are a couple of places. If you have Euro, you can go to lightpay.eu. That's litepay.eu. If you're still in town, you can go to bettylicious.com. If you have dollars, you can go to coinmkt.com. These are all direct venues that you can actually buy from. And just to mention, if you have Chinese yuan, you can actually go to btc38.com, and that will also be a direct purchase for you right there off the bat. Those people accept, some accept PayPal or other money transferring tools. Others might, like Pay, actually accept bank wire as well. So it's actually really easy these days.
Well, Kevin Rasmussen, thank you so much for joining us. Worldcoin Alliance, telling you, this stuff's growing. You don't want to miss it. We'll be back right after this. All right, for the U.S. markets, some people are already asking, hey, Josh, what's the website he gave out for U.S. money turning into, or not turning into, for U.S. dollars that you want to use to purchase Worldcoin? It's real easy. It's just coinmkt.com. Coinmkt.com. So you can go there and and purchase your Worldcoin. And like he was saying, I was saying, there are a lot of coins out there. There really are, and it's just absolutely crazy. And that's typical with any new industry. You know, there were over 1,500 auto manufacturers, and that sifts out. And there were a bunch of search engines, and you know, now we're basically down to 4, and that's just the way it goes. So as this progresses, you're gonna want to get a currency that has the ability to withstand that shakeout. Bitcoin is one, Litecoin is one, and the thing that intrigues me about Worldcoin is the fact that they're doing exactly what he just said they're doing. They're working on expanding their already 300 merchants to many more. They're working on things like scratchers. That whole idea of a scratch ticket that has Worldcoin value is real genius. And I don't know if you caught that, but let's kind of explain that a little bit. Let's say you were like, hey, you know what? I just heard on my phone that U.S. Airways is about to accept Worldcoin or cryptocurrency in general. And that's obviously going to shoot up the price. So, man, I need to get some Worldcoin. Well, how do I go about doing that? You can go to a distributor of the scratch tickets, give them dollars, like real physical dollars, not even, you know, transfers off a debit card, real physical dollars. You'll get a card, just like a scratch-off lottery ticket. You'll scratch it, you'll have a code, you put that code into your wallet, and bada bing, bada boom, there you go. So, I mean, the whole idea is just, man. And think of the ability to not have to deal with exchange rates. And, you know, the fear is, and we have a lot of people of faith who listen to the show. Well, Josh, isn't this that thing which we dare not speak? Isn't this a global currency? A U.S. dollar right now is global currency. A Visa card right now is global currency. Global currency is here. If you feared a coming global currency, you missed it already. It came. I mean, we like to think that they're different, but really, think about this. If the British pound or the, you know, Canadian dollar or whatever, if these are 97% crypto already, which they are, then when you engage in exchange, you're really just playing a crypto market. That's all you're doing. You're just saying, okay, well, I'm going to take this cryptocurrency, we'll call it US coin. I'll take US coin and I'll trade it for British coin, and then hopefully the British coin gains a little value on the US coin, and then I'll trade it back. And you do it all online anyway. You go online from your phone or your computer, you transfer some US crypto coin over to your savings account. I mean, it's really, that's all you're doing anyway. So the world money is already here. They fooled us into thinking, well, it would be one thing. Why? I mean, that actually makes no sense when you really think about it. Why would the one world currency actually be one currency? You don't do that until you have everybody on board. And as long as there's competitive currencies happening, it takes longer for them to get everybody on board. If you want to fight the one world currency, actually, you would want to get involved in as many as possible. You would want Worldcoin, gold, silver, dollars. I mean, you would want as much diversification as you could possibly have. And, you know, that's exactly what you see in the crypto marketplace, at least at this point. So, anyway, that's my take on that. I think it's an alternative that people should look into. Look at the people who have bought Bitcoin. They bought it, you know, when it was 4 cents or 5 cents. And now they're buying Lamborghinis, they're buying homes, they're getting their families off the continent so they can live someplace else. All because they invested, I don't know, $200-$300. We complain about the elite having things, right? Oh, well, the elite are the ones that always benefit. The elite are the ones that always see those waves and ride them. No, actually. The elite are the ones that don't hesitate. The elite are the ones that see an opportunity and decide to take it. You know, actually, let me give you some examples, because this was in Business Insider. This is absolutely amazing. Because hesitation kills. Hesitation kills. Everybody know who Nolan Bushnell is? No? Well, Nolan Bushnell turned down the opportunity to invest $50,000 and become 1/3 owner of a company called Apple. Today, Apple's worth $480 billion. You think he might want to, puke a little bit? But that's not the only Apple one. This one's crazy. Ronald Wayne decided to become another co-founder of Apple, right? Well, Josh, I thought it was Wozniak and Jobs. No. Ronald Wayne was there in the initial stages, but he got kind of jumpy feet, and I don't know about this tech stuff, and, I just got to get out. So he sold his Apple share for $800 2 weeks after the launch. $800. If he would have kept it, his cut today would be $40 billion. Well, Josh, it's only the elite that get those. No, it's not. It's the fact that the elite think like entrepreneurs, the masses think like employees. Oh man, I have a car payment coming up, and I could really use that $800, so I'm gonna sell my Apple stock for $800 and, pay my car payment. And I'm not saying don't pay the car payment, but you understand exactly what I'm saying. Instead of calling the bank and saying, well, I don't even know what his situation is, so let's pretend it was a car payment. Instead of calling the bank and saying, hey, you know what, something's come up, I have a little hitch this month, I don't want to get into long-term trouble, have my car repoed. Is there any way we can delay a payment for a month? Well, sir, you've had really good payments over the past year, so yeah, we could do that. Awesome, thank you. But instead people panic. Oh, no, you can't do that. Here's another one. Joe Green, and no, I'm not talking about mean Joe Green, I'm talking about Mark Zuckerberg's college roommate. Oh, already everybody's going, oh, no. Yes. Green asked his Dad, there's this startup. My roommate's starting this business. Should I join him? Should I become an entrepreneur, Dad? And the dad said, no, son, just too risky. You need to go out there and get a job. Well, if Green would have stayed with him, he was offered 5% stake in the company. So how much would Green be having in his pocket right now? $7 billion. And these stories go on and on. The guy who passes by the garage door and there's a company being formed in there. And do you want to be part of my company? Oh, no, kid, that's not going anywhere. I need to get to my job. A year later, the job's laying off 40% of the workforce, and the kid just bought, a private island. So you need to start thinking in terms of, how do I approach the world as an entrepreneur? And, on the other side of this coin, there's two types of elite. There's the elite that are the technical 1%, the almost 10 million people of this country who are in the 1/10 of the income thing. Those people aren't the evil ones. So that's the group that I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the 8,000 control freaks that, worship cats or something. No. I'm talking about just, your rich neighbor down the road. When those elite group up, when they make country clubs or they have yacht clubs, it almost makes sense to me in a way. Because the mindset is different. They see opportunities, they live their life based on what can I do today to pursue my passions, as opposed to, well, I got to put in my 10-hour shift at work. And it almost makes sense that they would want to hang around with people of like mind, doesn't it? I mean, would you want to hang around with somebody who's a downer all day? No, neither would I. All right, we'll be back right after the break. Don't go anywhere.
passing day. I got